Hello and welcome to all of you out there, astrology friends. Dear astrology friends, this is the monthly horoscope for January 2025, first month of the year. What is going on? This is going super, super fast. And let's have a look, first of all, in general, what's going on. And then for the 12 signs. I'm going to focus on two things. Yes, the Mars is always still, not always, but still retrograding. And in the beginning of the month, it's going to oppose again Pluto, Mars opposite Pluto, Mars at the beginning degrees of Leo opposing Pluto at the beginning degrees, of Aquarius, 1 degree, 0 to 1 degree. So we're going to feel that again. And it seems, again, quite a Plutonic month because of that. Then, because also Pluto is or the Sun is gonna conjoin also with Pluto when we enter Aquarius time, when the Sun enters the sign of Aquarius. And at the very end of the month, we're gonna have Mercury with Pluto as well. So that Plutonian transformative vibe stays alive in January, let's put it that way. But with the Mars retrograde, it will enter again backwards, 29 degrees of Cancer and go all the way through the last degrees of Cancer. So 20 retrograde, that is 29, 28, 27, up until 20 degree at the end of the month in Cancer. So most of the month, you could say, because the start of Mars in Cancer again is, you could say, round and about the 7th of January. So it's approximately the whole month that Mars will be in Cancer. I've talked about this in many videos, so it can be interesting. You don't have to do anything, but it can be interesting to look back to the video of the Mars retrograde in Cancer. And now you're gonna understand the vibe a little bit better because it's in the retrograde motion, and find out if the things are, how it developed with you and with going through what kind of sign. I'm very, very shortly going to touch that, where this Mars retrograde in Cancer is, but I'm not going to repeat all that stuff again. So if you want to hear more, go to I'll put a link at the end of the video to the Mars retrograde video, but also to the December video. If you're watching this in September, the monthly horoscope, because it comes back in every video, this Mars retrograde. Now, all in all, this is all about transformation, and we're still working on it. So it's going to be, again, a little bit more emotional with Mars in the sign of Cancer, and with that opposition to Pluto. The key here is to stay strategic. Certainly at the beginning of the first week of the month when Mars is in Leo, be strategic, and for the rest of the month, make sure that you're responding and you're not in reactive state and in ego state. It's my ego and blah blah blah. So apart from that, there's another thing I think that is very, very important that's happening in January, which is the shifts of the nodes. So the North Node and the South Node, they stay in a certain sign for around about, let's say, 1.5 years. So for now, in January, that shifts, and it's for the whole year. It's going to stay there for the whole year, the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. I'm going to focus on that because, and talk about this in this month a lot, because it's such a shift of energy we're going to have in 2025, all the eclipses in those signs as well. So but that will be for later on, because there's eclipse season 2 times in a year. But the most important is this shift of the nodes. And let me explain in general what it means from shifting towards the sign, the North Node, where we need to go, right, which is Pisces, and where we have to step away from, or the things that we already know, which is where the south node is, and that will be in Virgo. So first of all, so it has been in Libra and in Aries for a long time. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. I'm going to focus on where that area of life is for you, because January is a lot about those new intentions, and I think that goes very well with those nodes shifting signs. Because when the nodes are shifting signs, it means that a certain area of our life becomes very important to grow and for our soul's growth. And because the North Node, which is called Rahu in Vedic astrology, is always going towards where we need to go. Where is the destiny, you could say, and where it acts a little bit like the planet Jupiter. So it's about expansion and so on. So if you are willing and have the courage to go towards your North Node, you're going to grow tremendously, and that is good for your soul, and blah, 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 all that good, juicy stuff. Now, the South Node, so those nodes seem to go backwards, right? They went from the North Node from, you could say, Aries to Pisces, and now the South Node, the things that you need to let go of, and just let us hope that we can let go of the negative sides of that particular sign, right? So it goes from Libra in this case towards Virgo. Now, every sign has an upside and a downside. Every sign has I don't like to call it negative thing. I like to call it a pitfall. So where we need to be, or where we can be wary of, and where we can take this into account so that we learn. But of course, these are energies. So if we don't want to grow, then this too shall pass, right? So it's not like, oh, this is the North Node in, let's say, the 10th house, which could mean one of the reasons or the big things is that grow your career. If you don't want to, you don't want to, right? But it's energetically good that you go with the flow, because otherwise it becomes fighting against. And you know, what you fight against, what you resist persists. So it's always easier to go with the flow and to go with the energy, I mean. But life isn't always so easy. And it is what it is. But what does this mean now? That we're going to have this shift of 29 degrees of Pisces, 28 degrees of Pisces, the North Node that is, and the South Node at 29 degrees of Virgo, 28 degrees of Virgo. Does it mean Virgo is all bad and Pisces is good now? No, nothing further from the truth. And this is a misconception of the nodes, because the nodes always, just as in a birth chart, when you have the South Node somewhere, a lot of people think, oh, that's not good. We have to step aside from that. That's not true. It's like your talents of former lives, right? But it's something that you already know. Right? You're not going to grow by keeping on doing this. So let's give this example of the Virgo, right? We have the South Node there. So you could say, okay, we have to step aside from working hard, following duties, being of service of others, doing our routines, doing the things to keep us healthy. We all have to stay away from that, and we have to go to the Pisces energy, which is go with the flow, be lazy, and have a bottle of whiskey and watch Netflix all night. No, that's not what I mean, right? So what is what I mean? That you could say the area of life, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, if I go through all the 12 signs. It is good to get first to that Virgo energy, right? To use that. In other words, when you are of service and when you have your routines, which should be like a default almost. I don't like to say should, but anyway, it's like a default. If you're doing that, you can then enjoy and develop and focus on Pisces energy, which is relaxing, which is empathy, spirituality, feeling one with everything that is. You see what I mean? That's a totally different thing. So the North Node and the South Node is in opposition, and always oppositions are there to have the balance. And that is what a lot of people think, tend to forget. They tend to just neglect the South Node and go towards the North Node. No, we need to be in the South, or it's good to be in the South Node energy first and foremost, but not focusing to anymore like that is our goal in itself. I hope I explain myself well. And then you can go to that North Node where all the growth is, and to develop that, because that is the unknown after all. So yes, if we develop a good South Node energy, like in this case, we already know what our purpose is. We already know what devotion is. And it makes us happy in a way. That's what Virgo is all about, right? These are the good traits of the Virgo, the analytical side, the practical side of life. If you haven't eaten all day and then you go into a meditation state, I don't know if that's a good thing. It's earth and water. It's about being here in the 3D first and foremost, and then you can go to higher realms, so to speak, and to feel one. And that's the way how it is supposed to go. And that is healthy and that is good. So don't think that, okay, the Virgo traits, we have to all neglect it. No, you have to keep that. And you have to know that a further focus of that, it's not going to make you any happier. The same like, for instance, if you have that North Node in the 10th house of work, it shows energetically for a year and a half that it's going to be good for your soul development and for your growth to focus on work. Does it mean that you have to neglect the 4th house, which is your family? No, it just means that just focusing on the 4th house would not be the best, because then you're going to have this disbalance and you're not going to grow anymore. You can always do that, of course. We are not. We have that free will. We co-create, you could say. We do create our lives for a big extent, although there are other circumstances, of course. But it shows here in that particular case that, yes, take care of the family, but don't make it number one priority, or even becoming better at it, or even becoming more and more and more. No, the focus is now the work, the career. It's because you have a good foundation, the 4th house, emotionally steadiness, that you can focus on the career. So that's the purpose. I wanted to really take my time to explain this, and because it's so important with these nodes. And yes, of course, if we are taking this as a collective, we see, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I mean, these days to have the North Node in Pisces, because it's the last sign of the zodiac. It has that energy of the divine, and it has that energy of that we are all, you could say, invited energetically to do a bit more, to act a little bit more like the Piscean, which is a very energy of let go and let God, right? To trust also. And it's to go with the flow and to accept what is going on, instead of all, the Virgo side trying to make things as you have it in your head, because that is often forgotten that Virgos, they are very result oriented. They have a specific result in their head, which is called a perfectionist. And so we are asked now to live more in the moment and to let go and let God. And because of that, you feel the oneness with the divine. I think that is one of the biggest things of course, this sounds a little bit up in the air. And I know for a lot of people, that's not going to be their thing. But that's how the energy is. It's a lot about, that song, Calm Down, Calm Down. It's that energy. And, but again, in balance. Don't go over the top with the calm down. You see what I mean? Don't go over the top with the relaxation and you're going off. For instance, you're taking a trip for 3 months and you neglect your work and your responsibilities there, your day-to-day work. That's not what I'm talking about. So it's about that balance, but it is about, yes, this is our focus. And it is probably going to be the hardest thing as well, because we know in a natal chart where we have our North Node, it's not the easiest thing to go towards, because that's what it is exactly. It is you can see it a little bit when someone is born with the North Node in Pisces. It is someone who comes from former lives, you could say, or in younger lives, where there was a lot of criticism, where there was a lot of, detail, eye for the detail, hard work, but never a spontaneous let go and let God and love and peace, right? So that person needs to develop that. Do you think that when you have the North Node in Pisces that you're going to be already that Piscean energy? Not at all. Not at all. You probably will, certainly before your 40s, struggle a little bit with that, and struggle to let go, and struggle to trust, and struggle to believe. Therefore, they say it's always good to attract people in your life who've got personal planets where your North Node is, because they already have developed those qualities. Okay, so mind you, don't see it too black and white. Don't see it like that is good, that is bad. And no, see it as end. And I think that we are now invited to go towards, indeed, that trust and that flow. The flow of life, which is an art, I think. and that is said by someone who's got natally the North Node in Pisces. I think it's an art. I sometimes I really envy people who are so Piscean-like. And but the thing is, when you've got that in your chart, and now in a particular area of your life for 1.5 years, it shows potential that you can grow there very, very much. Because often people think that I have strong Pisces energy in my chart. So it's because later on in life, you are more and more drawn to those qualities anyways, whether you like it or not. So let's go for that. Let's go for those good qualities of the Piscean without forgetting the good old qualities of the Virgo, right? So not the escapism and not the I'm putting my head in the sand, but the strength of knowing that you're part of the whole and that you have empathy and compassion for people. It's very much that's why Pisces is related to going back to source, so to speak. So it's that connection with all there is and feeling very strong because of that. Okay, so let's have a look at what this month will be. And so focus a little bit on the Mars and then on those nodes. So for Aries, remember Mars retrograde in Cancer. In Cancer is in your 4th house. So there's things to develop there. I already mentioned that when it comes to your emotional setup, but also literally your home, your family, your roots. Mars retrograde, it's a good time there to go back to that. Maybe you go back to your family where you were born, if it was in a different country, or you were going back to understand where you're coming from and doing things differently now, because Mars is, after all, action. The biggest focus here is that the North Node will be in Pisces for you. So the 12th house, and the South Node in the 6th house. So this is a lot about what I said in the beginning. This is a good time for you to focus on that 12th house. As an Aries, it is a bit different. It is different because people with Aries energy, they are go-getters. They want to go. They want things yesterday. And now they are invited. You don't have to, but you are invited to slow down a little bit and to contemplate, meditate, maybe, if you like that. And but first and foremost, don't forget your responsibilities, the sixth house, your duties, the things that you need to do to stay healthy. And then you can really, really make a lot of growth when you're going to focus on that 12th house, which could mean you deal with charity or you deal with, spirituality. You kind of take more time off, relaxing, going to far away countries, trips, so that you can enjoy life. So it's really about you saying to yourself that you are worth it to do that, especially if you have established already that energy around, I work and I have that duty, or even if you don't work, that you take care of yourself. So a focus on relaxation for the Aries person for sure, and in a good way. And also, that is about releasing old patterns that are not even yours. So I could talk a day about this because this is a very interesting topic, but that is what is going on for Aries. So enjoy that. And I know January is a time of, we start up all things, but there's so many retrogrades anyway. So go a little bit with the flow and let go of things that are no longer suiting you when it comes to patterns. Taurians, the shift for you. Let's talk first about this Mars retrograde. It's in the third house again, in Cancer, in the third house, going backwards. So for you, it's and I forgot to say in the beginning that we have a full moon there in Cancer as well. So there's going to be for you developments in the way that you communicate, and there's like a backwards and forwards, so a different way of communicating, and dealing with information in a different way, and that might not be the easiest, but it can also simply mean that you're gonna just communicate differently, and especially if you have your own business, you could do a lot of things to redo for better PR. You could go back to a country with this retrograde. You could also, with siblings, with neighbors, there's something there that you do differently. I mean, with the communication with these people, also your mind and your thoughts, so that you're going to speak them out in a different way. Now, the big thing here is the North Node that is shifting in your 11th house in Pisces, which is nice for you because Pisces is water energy. Virgo is the same as energy as you, which is earth energy. So this is pretty good. And it means that the development, it means the following. The South Node is in your 5th house of Virgo. So yes, keep your own heart at the right place. Yes, develop those times to do things that you love to do, but you are invited here to do that more with like-minded people. The 11th house is a house of friends. So you're having here an opportunity for 1 year and a half. You don't have to, especially if you say, but Veerle, I don't have any friends. Well, this is amazing because this is an energy that goes with the flow for you. To develop that circle of friends, and it could be 1, it could be 10. It's probably Piscean kind of friends, which is people who are a bit more easygoing, people who might be working in the field of medicine, spirituality, these people who are very much knowledgeable about that everything is connected. And that is going to help you with your own goals for the future. So it's a very, very positive house. And so especially if you say, but I don't know my goals for the future, whether you are 18 years old or 50 or 70, it doesn't matter. This is an opportunity to create goals for your future. And as it is also a financial house, when you have your own business, because it's the 2nd house from the 11th. The 11th house is the 2nd house from the 10th. So the money that you earn out of your own business, this can mean growth by doing what? Networking. By how? In a Piscean kind of way. Again, which is very organically go with the flow. And so this is nice. This is very nice energy. It could also mean that you're going more to workshops where you can learn, and where you're sitting there with people who all also have the same interest in something. You know, Pisces is a lot like maybe music or art or beauty, spirituality, you name it. So pretty nice energy for you for sure. Gemini, for you, this Mars retrograde is again in your second house of money, of assets, and of your self-worth. So again, you are here working with a lot of that energy to establish wealth, to establish stability, financial wealth, but also stability, and also believing in the self. So Mars there means that you're probably reinvestigating things that are having to do with how you earn your own money. The second house is how you earn your money. So it's good to put a lot of energy there, right? So for you, like the beginning of the year is a bit more about how can I think about new ways of attracting more money in my life by my own actions, because it's Mars after all. And on another level, it's to gain self-worth. So you will see, you're one of those peoples, the Geminis, that are going to see after the end of February that the self-worth is going to go up. Now, where is the North Node transiting? It's going to transit towards your 10th house. And the 4th house is where the South Node is going to be. The 10th house is career, work. It's your, and if you say, but I don't work, it's your social status. It's how you present yourself in the world. What is the energy you exude in the world? Do you go doing groceries every single day like this? Or are you friendly? Are you Piscean-like, which is like that energy? Because Pisces for you is the 10th house. So where you express yourself in career, but if you don't have a career, it's how you express yourself towards society, you could speak. Like someone with empathy, someone with understanding towards others. So this year and a half, no matter how old you are, is good to focus on that house more, and to know that what you have established in that 4th house. The 4th house is your emotional state, your family, right? Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, it's not about neglecting your family now. No, it's about knowing that that is a big part of you, that you already, no matter where you stand now, you have a certain thing to appreciate around that emotional setup, around your house. Maybe it's not a perfect house, but it's a house that you have where you can reload your batteries emotionally so that you can go out there in society. So I strongly recommend the Geminis to go out in society to grow, because now there is for you a focus of 1.5 years, a focus of growth of your career. And again, if it's not your career, it's growth. It can be a parent as well that is going through that phase that you feel that they're growing tremendously, and that has a knock-on effect for you as well. But for most people, it's about growth, and I see the midheaven a bit as a second ascendant. So how people see you, how you present yourself towards people. So very energetically gentle, very kind, but at the same time also very one with everything that there is. So when you're doing a career in Piscean kind of energies, it's going to help you a lot to grow tremendously. So what are the Piscean? There are lots of it. You know, there's a part of Pisces, a lot of Piscean, they relate not only to spirituality, but also to inspiration, the magical world, the world of fantasy, which is like the film industry, the creativity, the inspiration, creativity, and the healing. It's a healing axe, you know, the Pisces and Virgo. So a nice focus for you for sure. Cancerians, of course, you're going to have on the 13th your full moon, and it's a bit with a because that full moon is with Mars in your sign. So let's talk about that first and foremost. You're going to have Mars retrograde again in your sign, going backwards and forwards. So you're just preparing something. You know, when you have Mars retrograde in your sign, the very positive of that is that you can brew something, that it's almost cooking in your case because it's a water sign, and it's going towards something new. But that will show itself around the end of February of 2025, when Mars goes direct again. But there is this development. There is this feeling that there's something that you need to review, how you act. You could be having also things that need to, because Mars in the first house can mean, if again, this is not new, this is old news. So if you say, oh no, there's no problem yet, you're not going to have this problem. But it's about your health as well. So there could be some inflammations, or there could be some issues that you already had when Mars started to be in Cancer anyways in November, that that you need to address now first in order for you to come with this new energy and this new plan. So that could be a little bit of a focus there. So you are reviewing how you are showing up in life, for sure, because the first house is you, and it's also your path. Now this North Node is shifting into Pisces in your 9th house. This is very beautiful for you for 1.5 years. Why? Because Pisces is a water sign, you are a water sign. So there is balance there. Even if you're going to have the eclipses next year in the sign of Pisces. So you're stepping away from the 3rd house where Virgo is, which is being very rational. And again, it's not to exclude that, not to say don't be rational, don't be logical. No, to the level that you already know how to be logical, how to be rational, how to be having some skills and developed some skills that you have already now. I'm not saying that you have to not develop your skills anymore, but the better thing for you now energetically is towards going towards the 9th house of Pisces. And what is to focus on that house and that area and that energy. And the 9th house is about spirituality. And it's about, for lots of you, there's a couple of things there, the 9th house, that it can represent. So first and foremost, you focusing a little bit more on the abstract and the bigger picture, instead of, the day-to-day knowledge and the day-to-day facts and figures. So instead of reading, for instance, a journal, you're reading now a book that is about spirituality, philosophy, that is about the metaphysical side of life, or the 9th house is also different cultures. So I can only recommend you to travel a lot during this time, this 1.5 year. Travel is stimulated because it broadens your perspective. So there's an energetical need here for broadening your perspective. And of course, you can already say, oh, but my perspective is already very broad. But there is here an opportunity to create even broader perspective so that you see things more in perspective, so that you can accept life more as it is. And that it empowers tremendously. When the 9th house is also morals, it's also your connection with the divine, whether you don't believe in God, maybe you believe in nature, or maybe you believe in the universe. It's about that connection. And that is where your strength and your growth is lying. So it's very esoteric, this energy, and it's very much about your belief system. So that it's time to make it a bit more open, your belief system. And again, a lot of people gain that through travel, through reading, studying, and instead of studying a skill like knitting or cooking or whatever, the basic stuff, study something that connects a little bit more all the dots, like as I said, philosophy, and so on. Very nice. Leos, this Mars retrograde is in the 12th house again. So it was in your sign, now it's tipping back into your 12th house, where Cancer is. And that's for most of the month, after the 7th of January. So that energy can be a bit restless. So it's time for you to battle some patterns that you no longer want in your life. And that, the patterns that are your blind spots. So if you want to grow, if you don't want to grow, don't listen to what other people say to you. If you want to grow, listen to what other people mention to you, and especially to the things that are hurting you a little bit emotionally. Why am I saying that? Because it's the 12th house is the things that we don't not always see straight away. It's the unconscious, but other people see it. So with Mars there, it can mean working on that, working on your blind spots, working on spirituality, working on investigating. It's a very good time if you're a writer, for instance. Mars in the 12th house retrograde can mean that you're just, writing, re-editing, and so on, doing some investigation, preparing something for the future is also very good for you, because then when Mars goes direct again, that will be at the end of February. But for you specifically, mostly March will be your time to go with a new project, to go with a new way of how you act. So you're developing there a strategy, you could say. Now this North Node shifts into your 8th house, and the South Node will be in your 2nd house. Now what does that mean? That means energetically to step a little bit more aside from that 2nd house and go more towards the 8th house. Now, does it mean that you don't have to worry about how you earn your own money, which is the 2nd house, or how you what your values are? No, it's actually about, hey, where am I now? How am I creating my own money? What is my self-worth? And then step into that 8th house, which is trusting, learning how to trust others, learning how to open your heart, learning intimacy, which is opening your heart, right, to a specific person, not only sexually, but which can help the intimacy, but it's more about you see me and I see you, with the bad, the good and the ugly. And so it's the North Node in the 8th house is a deep kind of call, you could say, or calling. It's about developing these things, these deep psychological understandings of your own fears. So the North Node makes things larger and make things grow. So you're growing here now the fastest when you are interested in the occult, or if it's not the occult, your own psychological understanding of the self and your own battles and your own fears, which are going to be 99% a lot of that is going to be imaginative fears, and how to tackle that, and how to grow from that, and how to let that go. It's in Pisces after all, how this is dissolving. Now on another level, this is money house, money that you share with other people. So it could mean that you are invited now, maybe you just married, or you just have a business partner. So you are invited here to invest with another person. So shared resources. There could be growth of money that your spouse is bringing in, for instance, or your boyfriend, girlfriend, your business partner. And it's about also inheritances. There could be a focus on that, on taxes, on tax returns, hopefully, and on investments. And all these things can be really interesting for you to focus on, because there is now where your biggest growth is going to lie. So a lot of transformation, a lot of letting go of old self, and a lot of transformation for you for this upcoming year. Virgos, you are going to have that Mars retrograde in the 11th house. So that is again, focus. Mars is in Cancer, so that goes well with Virgo. It's a sextile, but the retrograde suggests that it's a good time for you to rethink your goals. during this period, rethinking your goals and new actions, how you're going to work here. Now, if you have your own business, it's also the 11th house is a financial house. It's the house that the second house from the 10th, the 11th house is the second house from the 10th house. So it can mean that you're going to do something else, or in at least a different way of approach towards how to earn money out of your business. It could be that as well, that you're going to review that. And you're going to kind of try to make that better. Another part of that is friends. So there could be someone that is doing some Mars in Cancer things. And that you are judging that in a way like, well, not judging, but you are saying, is that, I didn't know that of this person. And this can be for better or for worse, right? That depends on the situation. But it could be like you, that like someone, like a friend is, going through a phase that is not the easiest. Let's put it that way. And on another level, it could mean that you review your friend's circle as well. Now, the big thing actually for you is this shift, right, of the South Node in your sign and the North Node in Pisces. Does it mean that you have to neglect yourself totally, because the South Node is in Virgo, and then you have to fully focus on others and do everything they want? Of course not. Of course not. Again, as I said in the intro, it's a lot. The intro is for you, because there's a lot of that I'm talking about, that it is about knowing who you are, the good old Virgo, being steady and trying to be steady and trying to be practical and of service, but now not focusing too much on that, focusing more on collaborating with others, focusing more, whether it is business and whether it is also in your romantic life, to kind of learn the most. Remember, the North Node is a bit the connotation of Jupiter. You grow the most when you do things with other people. So you are invited here to, especially if you do business, for instance, maybe to attract a business partner, or to do things not on yourself anymore, or not by yourself anymore. When you're single, this could mean that you're going to attract a partner. Absolutely, absolutely. But again, it's first like you step aside from yourself in a way, or you say to yourself, okay, I develop my identity here, or I kind of let go of old identity from being the single person towards being living almost like in the energy of, I'm whole and I'm together with someone. I'm going to attract someone. I already am. And it's just a matter of time. It's that kind of attitude that, of course, if you want that, if you say, I want to stay alone, then you stay alone, right? No one can force you to not stay alone. But so it's a lot of focus on other people. Definitely there, Neptune in your opposite house, Saturn in your opposite house. So it's a lot of energy towards others, and people will represent themselves again and again because of this, a lot of energy. And so the best for you is to indeed stay open for new people, stay open for new relationships. But you have your own compass, right? Don't put it away or don't give it away. It's that balance between me and the other person. And an enormous opportunity to attract new people in your life. Again, for love, it's a very good energy. I've seen it many times. When people have the North Node in the 7th house, they meet someone very specific and very, not specific, but very important in their lives, kind of fated feeling there. So good for you. Librans, Mars in the 10th house, again in Cancer. So you have that retrograde there, which is, not something new. It's a bit that energy of November. For most of you, it's career. There's something there. that you want to do different. There's something, either it is a different job or a new way of doing a job, or you are rethinking how you act in a job. Or again, it could be a person as well that you have a little bit of a conflict with, and that you're trying to sort that out, which you will around the end of February. This energy goes direct. Now for you, Libra, the South Node goes into the 12th house, and the North Node of Pisces is in your 6th house. So this is a very paradoxical energy, because Pisces is in the 6th house, but it's in the house of Virgo. And Pisces energy is in your 12th house, but there is now, I'm getting confused here. But I'm correct. I'm correct. The 12th house is Pisces energy, you could say, but it's Virgo for you. And the 6th house for you is Virgo energy, but it's Pisces for you. So for you, this is all about the balance between your day-to-day life, your work, and relaxation. How you balance that out. Probably for lots of you, there is a bit of there is more need for discipline. And I'm not judging here, but that's energetically. If you say, but I have already good discipline, good for you. Keep on going. But that's what the energy is suggesting, to go more towards that North Node, that 6th house. The 6th house for you is Pisces, but it's the North Node that is there. So to develop those qualities of work, if you don't have any job and you haven't been out of the job and you want a new job, this is good energy. This is good energy to have new routines, new health routines, you could say, and work, day-to-day, your lifestyle. So improving your lifestyle is going to get you very, very far. Right? And yes, I'm correct, aren't I? I'm just mixing this up all of the time, dear Librans. I'm saying that the 6th house is the Virgo house, but it's Pisces. I'm so sorry, but the things that I say, the interpretations is correct. But the name of Pisces and Pisces and Virgo, I kind of mix it together. I hope you forgive me, dear Librans. I hope you do. Because bottom line is, focus on your lifestyle. Focus on your day-to-day life. Focus on, let it a little bit more flowy, that day-to-day life. Let it flow, but at the same time, have a routine. It's a very mixed message, isn't it? But that's exactly what is good for you now. I hope I'm not talking too much in riddles, but that is what it is. So in other words, it's, how, the 12th house is how you relax and how you feel that you are one with all. You don't have to throw that away. You keep that. But the best focus now is for you to to go towards that, to go towards the development, so to speak, of, you could say, your day-to-day life, and how to stay as healthy as you can, and how to stay in service of others and doing that. Hope it wasn't too confusing. Scorpios. Now, Scorpio, this is like, hang on there. I need to do something here. I don't know if it's going to work. No, I'll do it afterwards. Yeah, I'll do it afterwards. I just had a message here. I just had a message. It's not important. It's not that important. Scorpios. This is Mars in Cancer. Scorpio, Mars in Cancer in the 9th house again, right? So for you, as I said, Scorpio and Cancer, it's water energy, but Mars going backwards there in the 9th house could simply mean that you're learning for an exam again. You're redoing something. You're relearning something. You're going back to a country you already visited. You are rethinking your state of mind, your belief system. You are challenging that, which is but again, this is a trine, so this is not going on with lots of difficulties and challenges. On the contrary, this could be the best time to, for instance, if you're writing a book, to do the editing. That's also Mars retrograde in the 9th house. So Mars retrograde there is definitely giving you an opportunity to improve your belief system. And it's about, hey, maybe I always believed in that, but that was not the right belief system. Is that correct, actually? Questioning it. So that's what's going on there with the Mars in Cancer. But the 5th house, there is where the North Node is going to shift for you in Pisces. And that is a fellow water sign as well. So for you, these eclipses and so on is rather positive. Well, it is positive because it's in a trine energy. So you are now here invited for a year and a half to develop that 5th house. So again, don't neglect your 11th house. It's not about neglecting the friends, but it's about, okay, you've got your friend group here, you've got your goals here. Don't overdo it, right? Keep the balance, but go a little bit more now towards your 5th house, where Pisces is, where it is about self-expression. It is about doing some projects, maybe starting a project of art or inspiration, of creativity, and having that developing. It could also mean children, focusing on your children more if you have them, or focusing on getting children. But the 5th house is really about, what do you want to enjoy yourself? So this is beautiful energy. It can also mean when you're single, for instance, and even when you're not single, your love life is a bit more important. You want to have, maybe you are single for a year now, you say, I'm done with being single. I'm going to go with the flow a little bit, and I'm going out there, and I love to meet my soulmate, right? It's very much Pisces energy in the 5th house. So it can definitely be very romantic time for you, for sure. But first and foremost, make sure that you're doing something to create your own joy, right? So like a hobby, or that takes 1.5 years, right? To explore. It can be a new hobby, and so it's what do you like to enjoy, and do that a little bit more, instead of maybe giving in too much to friends and what they say they want to do with you. And that balance, of course, keeping the balance, but focus a little bit more on your heart chakra. Sagittarians, this is the 4th house. But let's start with Mars retrograde in your 8th house, with also the full moon there on the 13th in Cancer. So again, Mars is going there. Your energy goes, there's a lot of energy there in that 8th house. And the 8th house is a house of life and death. It's the house of transformation. So you're transforming a lot through the actions that you're reviewing them. And it's a good time to review your actions. Absolutely. Could also have to do with real estate, because, it's Cancer and it's the 8th house. It could have to do with your home, could have to do with inheritances, tax returns, all these things that has to do with money, but money that you get from others, right? And or the money of your spouse, or the money that you have invested. And so the value of other people, there is something shifting there, and there could be a little bit that it demands some attention. It has a little bit of frustrating energy, but after all, when Mars goes direct on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, I think, of February, I know, it depends on where you live, but at the end of February, things will go way better for you when it comes to money that you share with other people, and all of these topics of looking into maybe real estate, and because there's also a lot going on with Pisces energy, with Saturn there and Neptune there. Now for you, this North Node is shifting into the 4th house. Now talking about your home life and your family, and literally your home, is going to be more of a focus there. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing for you. Again, it's not about the South Node is in your 10th house of career, neglect your career. No, it's about where I am at now when it comes to my career. That is solidifying it, solidifying, and but focusing more on your personal emotional well-being and your emotions and how to nurture yourself, really in that kind of being your best mom, so to speak. That's the 4th house. On another level, it's literally home, right? So you could be one of those people that are going to sell, to buy, and definitely with that Mars retrograde in the 8th house, could mean a property that you gain through an inheritance and things like that you are going to focus on. And when you do that, there's a lot of growth for you. There's a lot of personal growth for you, for sure. But again, don't forget, it doesn't mean to say neglect your career, right? It can also mean that there are shifts in parents, so that they are going through a phase that is that has a knock-on effect on you for growth. Capricorns, this Mars retrograde is in your opposite house, again, in Cancer. So yeah, other people are very important during the month of January again, and it's all about reviewing it. And people, if you are in a relationship, in a romantic relationship or a business partnership, it could mean that they are going back. They step back in a way. Maybe they did something or they said something or their actions, they're stepping. Maybe they say, yeah, I'm going that way. And now they say I'm go that way. So don't be surprised when that happens. The thing is, it's a review. It's a reassessment. And it's also for you a reassessment around what do I do? And people kind of standing their ground, because that's Mars in the 7th house. It can mean that, especially if you work with other people as well or with clients, that they're a bit like Marshall, right? They say, hey, when is the reading coming? You only ordered it yesterday. But yes, you say, for example, that you're going to deliver 3 days and it's 3 days. So where is it? That kind of energy could come up. Now, the thing is to kind of try to negotiate, to compromise a little bit, right? Not to let people walk all over you, but understand their position and then saying your position. Not like battle, because then, where does it end? Choose your battles wisely, for sure, for sure. Now, the nodes are shifting towards Pisces, and the North Node is shifting in your 3rd house. So that's where the focus needs to be. 1.5 year and a bit, stepping aside from that 9th house. Again, as I said in the intro, doesn't mean to say that now you don't have to have a higher perspective anymore. You don't have to have that bigger perspective and that belief that you are connected to all there is, because that's what the 9th house is all about. And it doesn't mean to say that you don't have to see things in a bigger picture. It means that you studied that or you developed that up until now. And that is a good thing. That is a good thing. But focusing a little bit more on that 3rd house will do you well in the sign of Pisces. What can that be? Focusing a little bit more on logic, standards, and practical stuff. Maybe you learning a new skill for next 1.5 years. So it's focusing more on that really practical energy instead of like going to maybe you already have a master degree, right? And now you say, oh, I want to have again a master degree. That is very 9th house abstract. It would be recommended. Of course, don't, make a decision here on this particular thing that I'm saying now, because I haven't seen your whole horoscope. It's just an example. But it's like, oh yeah, I'm going again, a master after master or whatnot. It would be better for you now energetically to stick more to the practical stuff, right? Like when you studied for doctor, for instance, you could say, yeah, I'm going to specialize maybe another year in sports or whatever. It would be better to like now this year to learn the practical side of being a doctor, for instance, the 3rd house, which is the knowledge here and there, and to do this in a practical way and to develop skills. The 3rd house is the hands. It can also mean a different way of how you communicate, right? So to emphasize that in that third house, a new way, a develop, and in a more Piscean way, which is gentle, which is kind. Um, so also your relationship with siblings, with neighbors, people in the neighborhood, people you see on a daily basis, like schoolmates, for instance, that's all third house. And it can mean the focus, to put a bit more focus on that can help you grow and improve those relationships for sure. On another level, the third, let's say you're a teacher, for instance, the third house is the practical stuff. Is doing things in a very, like what I'm doing here. Astrology is, I have the North Node in my third house. So it is actually explaining something very, very abstract, and it's in Pisces. So this is that position that you're having now temporarily, right? And this is all about developing those abstract skills that you have to translate that into a very practical thing that is hands-on. That is what this is all about, this energy. Can also mean like you're doing more short trips and you're doing more PR as well. I see the third house also as a development of a website, a PR, but something that is really, really hands-on. It's a very good time for you to learn something new, a language, or a Piscean kind of thing. What is learning a Piscean kind of thing? Maybe photography or something artistic or creative or some music, learning that instrument, learning a skill, with the hands. All good for your personal development and your soul's growth. Aquarians, this Mars retrograde is in your sixth house again. So there's a backwards and forwards going with focusing on how to do things differently when it comes to your health, when it comes to your work. So a lot of you, they will focus on another job. They will focus on another way of doing things in general. Others will develop, questioning their health and how they can improve it in a different way of how doing things with that Mars retrograde over there. And so definitely it's going backwards and forwards around your lifestyle and questioning how you are doing your lifestyle and how you can improve that. When Mars goes direct on at the end of February, that you can develop those new habits. But, and of course, let's not forget on the 29th, you're going to have your new moon in Aquarius. So there is like a vibe of new start for you, for sure. And this North Node is in the second house. So it's almost as the universe is asking you, like, let's focus on that second house and step a little bit away from the eighth house. Not that you neglect the eighth house, but focus on that second house. The second house is the house of how you earn money, how you feel about your values, how you feel about yourself, your worth, and so on. So it's a very good time now to earn money, to create more money, to create more belongings, but out of your own effort, so to speak, and not so much focusing on that eighth house, which is the trusting in others. Does it mean that you don't have to trust others anymore? No. It's about be a bit less, how would I say? Do it yourself is basically what I'm trying to say here. And it's nice, of course, when you are, of course, I'm not saying that if you are in need and shut the door if someone's trying to help you. Of course not. You see, it's about the balance, what I said in the beginning. And don't taking this literally. But what I do say is that to develop confidence, it's about you doing things yourself and not being helped financially or maybe moral support or whatever it is that other people give you. It doesn't mean to say that you're not going to get that anymore. It means that it's better for your personal development now, 1.5 years, to create that yourself. Because that is how you create confidence. Self-confidence comes from the self, not how other people view you or see you. It's also stepping aside from what other people tell you. I'm not saying that you can't listen to anyone anymore. But it's about finding your own compass and understanding yourself better. So it's quite deep there for the Aquarians to develop that layer of, like, it's almost like an upgrade that you're gonna get there. Could also mean that you focus on your values and to kind of upgrade them. And that comes with, if you have that confidence, you're going to see that other people, they will go with it anyways. Last but not least, Pisceans. First, of course, this Mars retrograde in Cancer. The Mars retrograde in Cancer in your 5th house. So it's a fellow element, water sign, Cancer and Pisces, or water signs. But the going backwards and forwards in Pisces can mean, one, if you have children, they are redoing something. They're going back to something that they already did. 2, it can mean that you are going to do a review of a project or a hobby that you're going to redo, or that you at least want to improve. So the 5th house is also your own projects, the things that are your babies, so to speak, like writing a book or starting a business. That could be you reassessing that. And then when Mars goes direct at the end of February, off you go. You have that new project. So it's a lot about how you enjoy yourself, questioning it and doing it in a different way. But of course, the good news is North Node is going to be in Pisces. So for the ones who are going to feel it the most in January are the ones who've got Pisces planets at the very end of it, like 28, 29 degrees of Pisces. But all Pisceans will feel that the North Node in your sign is very much of a blessing, because it has to do with that energy of, like, that is a bit more Jupiterian-like, expansive. So it's almost as if the universe is saying, like, okay, other people, where the South Node is, it is what it is, but focus a little bit more on you. That's basically what the universe is asking from you. Again, don't take that literally. So you are cutting this opposition in two, which means, okay, I've read, or Veerle said in the astrology, I don't have to take care of other people anymore. My girlfriend, boyfriend, or partner, or business partner, clients, whatever, I don't care. I'm going to focus on me, myself, and I. Of course, it's never like that. But it is a direction of, okay, you know where you are in relationships. You know what you have or you don't have. Yes, with the South Node there, it could mean some relationships who are not working for you will stop, right? If you want that. And but again, very much to come back to yourself and developing the self is actually where you're going to grow the most now. So yes, it could mean that a very bad relationship, and it's not something that you did not know. And there's no pluses anymore in the relationship, only minuses, minus. Then yes, this could be the end of it, and going back towards the self and redeveloping yourself so that you're ready for a new you, because that is what this is all about. There's a lot of growth available for you by traveling, by doing the things that you want to do and that you feel like doing. On another level, this could mean when you are single that you could attract someone else. That is very, very, you could say, because the South Node there, that has to do a little bit of, reminding you that, hey, I already know this person, but it's by you focusing on you. And that's how you shine, and that's how you attract like-minded people who are vibrating at the same vibration. So yes, I think it's a beautiful time for the Pisceans to have the North Node in your sign, because you're going to feel more. It's almost like you feel that the universe is supporting you more. It's like what you do and the way that Pisceans are already a sign that, they really try to, accept life. That's a very beautiful trait of the Piscean. Of course, unless you have like a moon in Scorpio or a moon in Taurus, which is a little bit more rigid. But all in all, Pisceans, they have that capacity. And it's now like they're really going with the flow. They're really growing through themselves and what they want in life, and through also the relationships that they want and choose for to be in or not. So very, very interesting time that comes for you, dear Pisceans. And having said that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And thank you for commenting. If you want a reading, click on the link below for a personal reading. And thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.